Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to make a quick video here to give you some tips if your equipment's been flooded with the hurricanes we just had, Hurricane Helene and Milton. Also, before I get started here, I want to let you guys know that discountonlineparts.com was affected heavily by those storms. So if you do put in an order, just be prepared to wait. Pretty well that entire town is flooded, including the hospital. So my heart goes out to all of you who've been affected by this flooding. I just cannot imagine the hardships that you guys are going through with all this chaos. Most of you watching from these areas probably have some equipment that's been flooded, generators, chainsaws, lawnmowers, all that stuff. The information I'm going to give you today will apply to basically all the equipment. Okay, let's say you've got your generator flooded in the water. You've got it out of the water. What should I do with it? Well, the very first thing you should do is drain the fuel tank, drain the oil from the engine. And remember guys, do this as soon as possible. Don't wait a month or two, because by that time there could be rust on the bearings inside of your equipment. Even if you drain it and get it running, that rust can destroy your bearings. So what you want to do is drain all the fuel, disconnect the fuel line from the fuel tank, drain the entire tank. You can actually rinse out the tank with methyl hydrate if you're able to get your hands on this stuff. It does absorb water pretty good. It's good for getting rid of water in fuel. Also, what you want to do is get that oil drained, especially if it's a 4-cycle engine. Do this ASAP. And what you want to do as well is drain the carburetor from your equipment. Now, a quick way to drain your carburetor, even if it's on the machine, is by removing the bottom bolt here. You don't necessarily have to take it off the machine to do this, guys. If you don't do it on time, your carburetor will end up looking like this. And look at this one over here. And this one's a baddie over here. So what you want to do is basically reach underneath. Usually it's a 10mm bolt. Undo it. Pull the bowl out, let it drain completely. You can actually drain the entire fuel tank this way. And what you want to do is leave the gas cap off your gas tank. Leave this off the carburetor until it is dry like a whistle. Now you may have a different carburetor like this on your generator. This is a common carburetor for generators. This one will be a bit different. You'll have to remove screws or Allen screws over here. Pull this out, and then underneath there is a 14mm bolt that holds the bowl. You take it out, and then the bowl will come off, and let it dry until it is dry as a whistle. Now, if this is too much work for you on this carburetor, you can actually remove the drain bolt right here, run some fresh gas through the tank and let it drain again. You can add methyl hydrate again to that fuel. It'll drain out and eventually drain all the water out for you. This may be easier for you than to actually remove all these parts here, the solenoid and the bolt. And I want to show you a gas tank here that had water in it for a while. This is what will happen, is it will start rusting. The gas cap you can replace quite easily, but the gas tank is a little bit harder and more expensive. You can see inside this tank, it is all rusted out. And have a look in this fuel tank. So that's what's going to happen to your gas tank if you don't dry it out in a timely fashion, guys. As soon as possible is my best advice here. If your chainsaw was submerged, what I would do is take off the cover here where the air filter is. Remove your air filter if it's wet, replace it or let it dry in the sun. Do not attempt to start it. I would remove the spark plug, drain all the gas and the oil from it. I would pull over the engine with the plug off, switch off, and if there's water inside, it will kind of shoot out the spark plug hole. If it's sunny in your area, leave it in the sun for a day or two. This will dry out the chainsaw completely. You can also rinse out the fuel tank a few times with some mixed gas and just go from there, guys. You want to do this ASAP, because on a chainsaw, if you don't, you will end up getting rust on your bearings, on the connecting rod bearing as well. And even if you get it going, your saw will be destroyed in no time. Now, when you drain the oil out of your 4-cycle equipment, what you want to do is put fresh oil in it, run it for about 5 minutes, look at the dipstick, and if the oil is gray, that means that there's still some moisture in the crankcase. Drain the oil again, put fresh oil again, run it for 5-10 minutes, check the oil again. If it's still gray, repeat the process until the oil looks normal. It'll be brown, clear, whatever. You just don't want any grayish color in your oil, because that means that there is water still left in your engine, and that oil will destroy your engine if there's a bit of water in it. Now, if you didn't have time to get to your equipment and your carburetor looks like this, just replace it. You're better off to replace it than to try to clean a corroded carburetor. As soon as it gets corroded, guys, it will cause you major issues down the road. These carburetors are not expensive. If it's a Chinese generator you have, you can buy the carburetors on Amazon quite cheap, and just replace the carburetor instead of wasting your time, especially if you need to get the power back on quickly. Now, when it comes to 2-cycle equipment, the gas tanks aren't that big. It's not like a generator. So just rinsing out the tank, letting it dry in the sun should do the job. You shouldn't have to put in any more additives in that equipment. Now, when it comes to your generator and other 4-cycle equipment with bigger fuel tanks, you might want to add a bit of methyl hydrate to your fuel, not much, or K100, because these two products actually absorb some moisture. Not all of it, but some of it. I actually use these products when I'm fixing equipment that's been flooded. We have had some floods here in my area in the past, and that's what I did. But the best remedy to get rid of fuel, guys, is to just drain the fuel tank and leave it out in the sun. The heat from the sun and the rays from the sun will dry it out completely. So I hope this video has helped you. If I forgot to mention anything in this video, please comment below. And again, my heart goes out to everybody who's been affected by these hurricanes. Thanks for watching, and make sure you're subscribed. Have a great day.